I think we can all agree, right? That whole festive stretch,
Hmm.
from the big holidays right through to New Year's, it's sold to us as this magical, restorative
The
time.
time for reconnection.
Exactly. But for so many of us, it's draining,
Yeah.
fundamentally draining.
Well, it's the sheer volume of it, the duration of all that required social interaction.
Yeah.
If you're someone who deals with social anxiety or even just, general self-consciousness,
Yeah.
those weights are just, they're overwhelming. You're
What's
constantly monitoring your own performance, worrying.
that constant internal monitoring, it's exhausting. We
Yeah.
get to January and our social batteries are just, completely empty.
Mm.
But we recently came across a concept that has just exploded online. We're talking millions of people, specifically because it offers this radical shift in perspective.
A way to maintain energy in those high-stress social settings.
Yes, and that's what we're doing today.
We are diving into the invisible guest theory. And, what makes this deep dive so necessary is that this isn't just some fleeting self-help trend. The sources show it has really widespread, serious praise.
Across demographics, we're talking about uptake everywhere. From, the common person who just wants to survive a family dinner
Right.
all the way up to high-profile business professionals. We saw a commentary from people described as millionaires who champion this.
And business leaders calling it transformative for things like networking and even just internal meetings.
It's incredible.
So the concept, it acts as a really powerful cognitive reframing tool. And our mission for you today is to help you quickly understand the mechanics of this so you can use it, immediately.
It really is the ultimate shortcut to reducing that self-consciousness, dropping the overanalysis, and frankly, improving your mental health in pretty much any social setting. Okay, so let's unpack it. The invisible guest theory. It sounds a bit formal, but the core idea is, it's wonderfully simple and kind of brutally liberating.
It all hinges on this one idea. At any social gathering, whether it's a huge party or just a small dinner, most of the people there are not actually focused on you.
And that is such a hard psychological hurdle to get over. We're sort of hardwired to think we're the center of attention.
It's called the spotlight effect. We just assume all eyes are on us, judging our outfit, judging that joke we made.
Our every move. But the reality, according to this viral concept, is that everyone else in that room is just as trapped in their own head as you are.
They're far too preoccupied with themselves and their own behavior to really offer any sustained critique of yours.
The sources make a really critical clarification here, too. Despite the name invisible guest, there's no mysterious absent person everyone is talking about.
No, it's actually much more effective to think of yourself as the invisible guest.
I do have to push back a little on the phrasing, though. To an outsider, it sounds a little cynical, doesn't it? Are we just saying that no one's paying attention at all? Is it an excuse to just be sloppy?
Not at all. I mean, the theory isn't suggesting people don't see you or acknowledge you.
Okay.
It's suggesting they don't fixate on you. The sources really stress that this is about freeing up your own cognitive load. It's the difference between feeling like a participant and feeling like the lead actor under this blinding critical spotlight.
So you're just temporarily background noise.
Exactly. And that is a massive restorative gift.
That reframing really is key. It lets us stop agonizing over what we think others might be thinking. It changes the question from, what do they think of me, to,
what are they thinking about themselves?
Yeah.
And we actually have data that shows this self-absorption isn't just, anecdotal. Research confirms that the vast majority of the time, people just are not contemplating your feelings or your behavior. Their brains are fully engaged, running their own internal operating system.
A system that's biased towards self-concern.
Especially in stressful situations.
And this is where it gets incredibly detailed and I think really useful for you, the listener. One user who really popularized this said they heard it from an unidentified millionaire.
Right.
And this person detailed the specific tactical worries that just preoccupy everyone and eclipse their ability to focus on anyone else.
And it's a fascinating list because it shows you just how low level these anxieties are. They're not huge existential crises.
No, they're immediate, mundane things.
Yes, things that are consuming all their internal bandwidth. The list includes things like their tone, their outfit, their to-do list, their insecurities, and of course, their fear of being judged.
Those are such powerful distractors. Just think about their tone. Someone could be talking to you, but at the same time, they are running this internal script, analyzing if they sounded too demanding or maybe too flat.
They're monitoring themselves. not evaluating your response.
Exactly. And the to-do list, I mean, that is just pure cognitive load right there. You could be talking about anything, and their mind is secretly cycling through.
Did I send that email? Do we have milk at home? How long until I can leave?
Right. That internal pressure just completely displaces any focus they could have placed on you.
And if they're worried about their outfit, is it appropriate? Is it clean? That's just classic self-verification. They're constantly scanning for evidence about themselves, not absorbing what you're saying.
So the conclusion that the sources draw is pretty simple, and it's devastatingly accurate.
They're too busy worrying about themselves.
When you realize that, and you realize those concerns are universal, the burden it lifts immediately.
It absolutely does. The sources then dive into an even bigger list of this inner monologue, the specific thoughts bouncing around people's heads.
They mentioned it's common for people with conditions like ADHD, but honestly, it's universally relatable for anyone under stress.
Oh, yeah. The list is exhaustive because our minds are just expert catastrophizers under pressure. It's that constant loop of questions like, how do we look?
Are my clothes right for this? Did I say something stupid 5 minutes ago?
Oh, that's a big one. The replay button on a slightly awkward joke.
It's the worst. Then there are the logistical worries. Can I remember names? How long do I actually need to stay for?
Am I laughing too much? Do I seem needy? Desperate?
And maybe the most anxiety-inducing question of all, the one we ask as we're leaving the room.
What will people say when I've left?
Yes. And the beautiful irony is that if everyone in the room is asking themselves that same question,
then nobody is left to actually formulate the answer about you.
it's a perfect loop.
Oh.
So if you can imagine every single person in a room, even the most confident-looking one, is battling that huge inner monologue, all those self-focused questions.
It becomes genuinely impossible for them to fixate on you. They're consumed by fixating on themselves.
And that is the pivotal realization for you to take away every time you felt that wave of anxiety, wondering if you're being judged as you leave a room.
Or feeling like no one wants to talk to you.
Right. You can now deploy the counter thought. The person you think is looking at you critically is probably just trying to remember if they locked their car, or if their tone sounded weird 5 seconds ago. This brings us to the core mantra of the whole theory, and it gets its full power after you understand the sheer depth of human self-absorption.
It's that quote, not because you don't matter, but because everyone is trapped in their own head.
That's the ultimate cognitive reframe.
It just transfers the pressure. It's not on you anymore. It's on this universal, shared human condition. We are all self-conscious creatures running these intense internal monitors.
What I find so fascinating here is how quickly this whole concept moved beyond, holiday parties and personal stuff. The sources show it moving into the professional sphere.
That's right. Business professionals are championing it on places like LinkedIn. They're adopting it as a real strategy for client meetings, negotiations.
Okay, but how? If I'm, say, a business leader giving a high-stakes presentation to investors, don't I want them focusing intently on me? How does the theory help there?
Well, it changes your focus from external validation to internal delivery. If you walk into that boardroom thinking, they're all judging my tie, my posture, my slight stutter,
Right.
you are splitting your mental energy. You're trying to deliver content and monitor your performance at the same time. You just become less effective.
So the shift is about recognizing the audience's divided attention.
Precisely. The theory allows you to be more real, more relaxed, because you drop that need for perfect performance. The business application is realizing that the investors are also thinking about their own portfolio returns, their travel schedule,
The argument they had this morning,
or even just, am I asking the right questions in this meeting? Do I sound smart?
that's huge. It means your focus can go 100% to delivering your message because you're less worried about micromanaging your own body language. It removes that layer of social fear.
And the ability to adopt this in daily life, in the break room, at networking events, that's what the sources say, can seriously improve chronic social anxiety and just your overall mental health.
When you stop overanalyzing every facial twitch or delay in response,
You achieve a level of peace.
which brings us back to that liberating result from the social media threads. If everyone is too busy overanalyzing themselves, they just won't notice your tiny slip-ups or awkward laugh or stumbled sentence.
It gives you a psychological safety net. It's permission to make minor mistakes.
Because the critical, all-seeing gaze of the crowd?
It's functionally absent. You can relax into the conversation instead of performing for it.
So what does this all mean for you moving forward? The concept really brings us full circle. The goal is freedom from self-scrutiny. And you get it by remembering everyone else is just as wrapped up in their own head as you are.
It's a shared human silence in a way.
But we have to address the critical caveat that one source mentioned about deep insecurities.
Right.
If your core anxiety is feeling easily missed or overlooked, this theory kind of confirms your fear. It says, yes, you are invisible.
And that confirmation could, potentially make the anxiety worse. You now have proof that you're just background noise.
But the sources immediately counter this.
They do, with a crucial follow-up. But then so is everyone else, so don't overthink it. The confirmation of your invisibility is neutralized because invisibility is the default state for everyone there.
It transforms that self-critical thought, I am unseen, into a collective observation.
We are all unseen, and that's okay.
That is the transformative element. It's the permission slip. So we encourage you to carry this forward. How can acknowledging your own temporary invisibility be the very tool that lets you stop worrying and, ironically, engage more authentically with all the other equally self-absorbed people around you?
And what's the limit of this self-focused liberation? Does prioritizing your own comfort ever risk making you too withdrawn? That's something really fascinating to mull over as you go into your next interaction.